Some movies are lazy. Rather than piece together a smart and intricate plan in how to trick their audience, they'll just give a character a line that so obviously hints at what's to come. Like in Star Wars when Obi-Wan Kenobi says to Anakin Skywalker, "You'll be the death of me." And then he is. Who'd have thunk it? Thankfully though, some films enjoy taking the public on an adventure, delightfully spinning their stories at the right time to leave us all with slack jaws and shocked faces. When it's done correctly, it's the height of cinema. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is 10 movies with ridiculously subtle foreshadowing that no one noticed. Number 10. The camera framing cuts off Gwyneth Paltrow's head an hour before John Doe does in Seven. Seven is designed to keep you on your toes. Aside from not including Kevin Spacey's name in the credits to protect John Doe's reveal, director David Fincher takes it one step further by hinting at what's to come through the use of his framing. If you don't know, the end of the movie sees Tracy's head being delivered in a box to her upset lover. As you would be if you received such a thing. Throughout the movie, however, you keep getting shots of Tracy with her body cut off in the frame. This happens a lot, so it soon becomes obvious there's more here than just an artistic choice. You even get a one-frame flash of Tracy's head just before her husband, David, kills John Doe. The evidence was there for all to see. We just didn't. Number 9. Mufasa's Circle of Life speech gets taken more than a little literally in The Lion King. Trust Disney to get well literal with its rousing speeches. We all know Mufasa's Circle of Life chatter. If you don't, what have you been doing with your life? Not watching The Lion King, clearly. In short, it's about what a king has to do and how life works. Kinda. There's one line that takes it a step further, mind. After Mufasa gets killed when he's run over by some wildebeest, the sun sets and you don't see any more natural light until Simba is back ruling the roost. A tonal nod, sure, but also much more matter of fact given Mufasa says to Simba, "One day the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king." Only it wasn't a figure of speech. Well, it was, but it's also something that actually happens. That's why Timon and Pumbaa are all happy-go-lucky too. They live outside of where the light touches, or outside of the Pride Lands, so they don't give a shit. Never realised that though, right? It's actually very clever. Number 8. Bloody Christmas is a microcosm of the plot in LA Confidential. The Bloody Christmas scene in LA Confidential basically tells you exactly what's going to happen to each of the characters in the movie. And if you actually picked up on that when you were watching it, well, you're a lot smarter than me, or a liar. One of the two. Based on true events though, Bloody Christmas sees a gang of drunk policemen trade blows with some prisoners. During the ruckus, however, everything is there in black and white. Bud, played by Russell Crowe, throws himself into things with little thought, whereas Guy Pearce's Exley tries to calm things down. Then there's Kevin Spacey's Jack, who doesn't want to be involved but gets dragged in because of all the madness. Hell, he even ends up with a blood splatter on his shirt where he gets shot later on in the movie. And the other two suffer a fate similar to their actions here. As for Kim Basinger's Lynn, well, she's nowhere to be seen because she's not involved, just as she isn't later on. Directors are nuts. Number 7. Magneto knew he wanted to kill someone with a coin in X-Men First Class. Sebastian Shaw is murdered by Magneto in X-Men First Class when a coin gets pushed through his frozen head. I mean, that is a way to go. Not just the fact it's legal tender, but because it goes right through his brain. That is not nice. Not nice at all. You may just think Magneto is a creative killer, but that just isn't the case. When we first meet him, he's using a photo of Shaw as a dartboard, and guess what he does? That's right, he thrusts a coin into this picture, and it lands right in the forehead. See? He wanted to do it from day one, and he achieved his dream. What an inspiration. Number 6. A Schwarzenegger joke hints at the mutant suffocation in Total Recall. There is so much foreshadowing in the opening 20 minutes of Total Recall, it is beyond ridiculous. Almost every scene has been designed as a callback to later in the story, so you can figure out whether Arnie is nuts or if coincidence has taken over the world. Even though you could argue it both ways. It doesn't stop there though, because even throwaway lines are actually talking about things to come. When Schwarzenegger quips to Tony that he should relax, you'll live longer, it's hinting towards Tony's fate. The mutant eventually gets trapped in a room with limited air, so if he calms down and doesn't take in as much oxygen, he will, in fact, live longer. Once again, Arnie is the hero of the year. Number 5. Fire is what makes a human in the Jungle Book. King Louie's big issue in the Jungle Book is that the only difference between humans and orangutans is the ability to harness fire. Now, given that Louie in this world is a walking, talking animal, I don't see what the problem is, but that's neither here nor there. That's the law that becomes established. The film sticks rigidly to this idea as well, because fire is exactly the tool Mowgli uses when it's time to defeat Shere Khan. The only reason the young man cub makes it to the human settlement is because he mastered fire, which is exactly what the singing insane ape was going on about. So he was right. Number 4. The Rainmaker's origins are played out in Looper's finale. Complicated one this, but only because Looper is hard enough to watch just to take in the main plot, let alone smaller ones that hint at what's to come, or what has been. I don't know. Time travel, man. It's too much. But with the ever-looming presence throughout the movie of the Rainmaker, a man who would overthrow the 5 major crime bosses and close all time travel loops, it's all rather obvious who it is. Sid, who's but a child in the film, is already a bit, well, off. But it's clear he's the chosen one when all is said and done. For starters, he has posters in his bedroom of the Rainmaker's future henchmen. So that's a doozy. Plus, when Bruce Willis's old Joe talks about the mysterious crime lord, he says he has a synthetic jaw and saw his mum get shot. And that's what almost happens to Sid in this separate timeline, and what would have happened if Joseph Gordon-Levitt's young Joe hadn't have got involved. Honestly, this movie, I need to lay down. Number 3. The Cloverleaf Corporation has strong connotations with interstates in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. While many people forget about it today, the fueling story in Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the mysterious identity of whoever is being a right dick. When Judge Doom arrives, it's obvious. He looks like the word evil threw up on him. But before then, it's not that clear. The company that buys LA's tram system, the only route out of Toontown, is called Cloverleaf. By the end of the movie, we know that's headed up by the dastardly Doom and that his plan is to destroy the town and build a freeway or intersection. The clue's in the name though. If you just happen to be a driver in Germany, Sweden or America, a cloverleaf is an unnecessary complicated interchange that uses multiple levels. Plus, if you squint hard at one, it looks a bit like a 4-leaf clover. And guess what? That's Doom's plan, to build one of these haphazard messes that's been staring at you in the face all along. Sort of. Number 2. Fisher gives Saito the idea for his limbo in Inception. Well, you know this is about to get complicated. Inception is determined to screw with your brain even without foreshadowing, so prepare yourself for all-out mental war. When hell breaks loose in the dream that's within a dream that's in a dream, or in this instance an avalanche, Pete Postlethwaite's Fisher remarks to Ken Wanatobe Saito that he would have preferred it if someone had just dreamt up a beach, which makes sense. He almost got killed by massive chunks of snow. Then guess what happens when Saito falls into his own limbo? He's on a beach! So not only is that a nod to later in the movie, but it's also showing how that comment influenced Saito's subconscious. Inception is just bonkers. Number 1. A throwaway quip tells you who stole the truck in The Usual Suspects. The mother of all foreshadowing in movies, the mystery of who the hell Kaiser Sose is remains as impactful today as it did in 1995. The Usual Suspects kicks off with a truck full of guns being hijacked. That's why all the main characters are brought together to begin with, because they are, wait for it, suspects that are usual. We know by the end of the film, it was actually Kaiser Sose and Todd Hockney. When Agent Kujan is explaining that a foolproof way of figuring out the guilty party is looking for a caught felon who is sleeping, because it means they know the game is up, there's only one member of the gang who is napping when they're all locked up. And guess who it is? That's right, Todd Hockney. So it was right there, in your face. Know of any other movies that went crazy with foreshadowing? Let us know in the comments below, and then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Then come follow me on Twitter at SimonMiller316. I'm Simon from What Culture, and I'll chat to you again soon.